because Hashem's giving us the microphone, and we've got to get the message out. Now's the time. Now is the time. Everything till now is nonsense and foolishness. And now is the time, Israel and everybody get up. Listen, world. We were playing around. We're going to hit the reset button. And we're living in a crazy world, friends, where everything goes. Yesterday was a male, today a female. It's okay. You can change in a whim in an instant, and it goes down. So the reset button is, listen, Kinderlach, we were pussyfooting around. What is it? What's that expression? Pussyfooting? Is that the expression? Guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For all these years, and now it's over. Listen here. Israel, we just hold up the Bible to the translation, hold it up to the world screen. What do you need? Key. The fog. Thank you. Listen here. Here's where it is. And just keep on as a mantra, quoting from the Eibishter, the Torah, Avraham at Yisrael, and just every single newscast, every single discussion. This is what it said, and we say with the kip on the head, because it ain't gonna fly if they're gonna say, all right, but there's more things in that book. Are you doing it? Yeah, we're keeping Shabbos. That's what's going on. In 1 second, this exile is over. A second. And it's not just the guys out of the Knesset. It's me and you in a daily conduct. Keep on the head, Baruch Hashem on the lips, kosher in the stomach, kosher business, conducting ourselves the way a Yid should. Look, I don't know about anybody else. This is anecdotal evidence, but I'm traveling a lot, and I'm telling you, I'm meeting all kinds of people. I don't know. I'm getting hellos and smiles and waves wherever I go. It's anecdotal, okay? Dark-skinned, white-skinned, red-skinned. I was in Dallas the other day. Atlanta is the biggest airport in the world. It's like walking in Manhattan. It's insanity there. I was delayed for 2 hours. Other guys were delayed 24 hours. Terrible weather. Wherever I'm going, getting a smile and a nod. And I walk around with a smile myself, and I greet everybody that I'm seeing someone. People engage me in conversation. Hello. It's anecdotal, but I'm just as undisguised Yid. And that's what it is.
You're also very handsome, Rabbi.
Yes, that's true. Flattery will get you. No, this is not a joke. Thank you very much, but it's not that. This is the time we're living in. The microphone is, like this guy said, is in our hands. Start talking. He says it very well. I've been saying this for the longest time. The obsession with the Jew is crazy. It's a divinely orchestrated thing. I don't know if you're watching it. Okay, let's learn. Talk Shabbos. Okay, because what we're learning now is not something else. This is it. So let's summarize where we're up to and plow ahead and add new insight and profundity. What we're explaining is the Jerusalem Talmud, the Talmud Yerushalmi says that the reason that the sages enacted 4 cups of wine, they wanted us to remember, you have in front of you the 4 expressions of redemption found in Parshas Va'era. I will take you out, I will save you, I will redeem you, and I'll take you to me as a people. And so the Mordechai asked the question, beautiful expressions, if that's what you want, Chachamim, us to remember at the Seder night, you're not justified in making a whole new enactment of 4 cups of wine. All you have to do is say, have 4 matzahs on the Seder plate, and we're all going to, why 4? We're going to remember the 4 Lashonos. How do these expressions justify 4 cups of wine? That's the question. And altogether, why are these 4 expressions so important anyway? It's very nice. God used 4 expressions to Moishe Rabbeinu, tell the Yidden, I'm taking them out of Egypt. I mean, there's many expressions of redemption throughout the entire narrative, the entire story of Yetzias Mitzrayim. These 4 expressions we have to remember. Why? So he started to explain. If you look at the 4 expressions, what do you see? The first three are talking about the actual Yetzias Mitzrayim, the Exodus. I'll take you, I'll save you, and I'll redeem you. Vaytzeisi, it's underlined for you there. You have the paper, Vitzalti v'ga'alti. But the Chachamim wanted we should remember that where is all this going? It's going to V'lakachti. I'm taking you to me as a people. What's that referring to? The giving of the Torah, the marriage, the bond between Eden and Hashem at Mount Sinai. In fact, the Torah describes marriage as ki yikach ish isha. Same words used here. Word number 4. In pasuk number 7. So the Chachamim went like this. It's true. Tonight we're celebrating, as we explained last week, we're celebrating that no Jew can fall to the 50th level ever. That's the big simcha. We say to the Rosh, had you been there, you wouldn't have been redeemed. You have the option of tendering your resignation. You don't want part of this, the Jewish people's destiny and mission. There was an option. No longer. And this, by the way, explains many oddities in the language of the Haggadah. I'm going to mention one. You have Haggadah in front of you. Right there, gentlemen. Please turn. Yeah. I'm going to tell you in a second. Yeah. Wait a second. Vitchila Tseyulomad. One second. No, page 11. Page 11, line number 8. We say in the earliest times our ancestors were worshippers of idols, but now the Akshav Kirvonu Hamokim Lavidasi, now God has drawn us close to his service. You see it there? Middle of the page exactly. Page 11. Mitchila Oivdei Kechavim Haya Visenu the Akshav Kirvonu Hamokim Lavidasi. Right? Beginning, our ancestors worshipped idols, and now the omnipresent Hashem has drawn us to his service. The question is not now, Matan Torah. When will we induct into God's service? Way back, 3,000 plus years ago. It should have said in the beginning our ancestors were idolaters, and then subsequently you drew us close to your service. And you gave us the Torah, and it goes on to describe how Yeshua affirmed later, Yeshua, the successor to Moishe, went and affirms that. There's a whole long address there before he died. He goes over their history and he affirms their covenant. But when did God draw us in here? Then, what's the now? The now is that even if a Yid will say, I don't want part of this, like that, you, not me. Kid once said to me, my mother's Jewish, but I'm not. I don't want to be Jewish. Says the Haggadah, now God's not letting you. That 50th level, remember the 50th level, the spark you cannot extinguish. No matter how we struggle and resist and we fight, assimilate, do whatever we want. The Jew himself can never cease being Jewish. It's ongoing. That's why it's Akshav. It's not like there's a covenant and you accept the covenant, walk away from the covenant. It's an ongoing, I'm not letting you go. That's what we're celebrating when Yitzias by Pesach night. But the sages want to know that's not enough. The Chachamim want us to know this has to lead v'lakachti. In other words, Pesach Yitzias Mitzrayim is describing God's choice of us, which is irrevocable. Irrevocable, which explains another thing. But then, before I get to my point, Dayenu, the end of Dayenu, the end, page 21, and all the things God did for us. And then line number 4, page 21, line number 4, Uvona Londos Beis HaBchira. And he built, the translation says the temple. That's not really the translation. It's the chosen house. Chosen house. That's such an unusual expression. We find it very rarely. It's Uvona Londos Beis HaMikdash. You built us the Beis HaMikdash. Why Beis HaBchira? Why are you invoking this notion of choice? because that's tonight's celebration. I've chosen you, and I'm not letting you go. I choose you. That's what Pesach is. Come along, put down the Haggadah. Come along the Chachamim, and they say, yeah, but tonight already you have to know that's got to lead to, already starting now, your choice of Hashem. A relationship is two ways. I want you, says the Eibishter tonight, and I'm not letting you go, but I need you and want you to want me. It's got to lead to a marriage. A marriage is, you can't force marriage. Ein Messinis Aisha al Pidaita. She has to agree. Else is no marriage. Do you agree? So therefore, the Chachamim wanted what? That already tonight, that's why these four expressions are so important, because the four expressions all lead to the culmination, which is Shavuos, the giving of the Torah. We have to be aware of this now, right away. You don't be satisfied with the celebrate. I'm a Jew forever. And it's a big simcha taka, but it's not enough. Therefore, what are you doing about it? Are you expressing it? Are you consciously invested in choosing Hashem? Are you going to live your Jewishness? Or it's going to remain that 50th level, that burning flame that's forever, which is beautiful. But that's not the point. It should remain concealed under layers and layers and layers of concealment. Reveal it. Liberate it. Hashem says, in other words, we're both players in this. I'm guaranteeing that you have that spark, but your job is to liberate it, complete the process of the redemption. I won't let you fall. You're going to remain always bound up with me, but you need to express that and give it liberation in it. Your actions should express that, your words and even your thoughts. That's why this is so important for Lakachti, these four expressions. And that's why there had to be Mesak and wine. To remember this, it's got to be wine. It can't be. Four matzahs will not do it. Why? Because matzah represents the moment of the Exodus per se, when we were passive and being led out of Egypt. You have no choice in your birth. You're born a Jew. That's God's choice in you. Matzah is tasteless, reflecting our, I don't have any choice in this, understanding, appreciation. It's unilaterally God's choice. To go a little bit deeper, matzah is called the Zoya Michla de Behim Nusa, bread of faith. That you believe in God is not your choice. You have a soul, you believe in God. Everybody does. There's no atheist in a foxhole. That's no thank you that I believe in God. There's a little bit of honesty. All of a sudden praying. Everybody. Every human being believes in God because there is a God and he's a creation of God and it's just in the DNA. And for sure a Yid. That's God's doing. The question is, are you learning about it, understanding it? Are you savoring it? Are you living it? Are you expressing it? That's wine. Wine is all about savoring. Wine is the opposite of matzah in every way. Matzah is tasteless. All matzah tastes the same, basically, because it's the same ingredient. It's what? It's flour and water. Every wine is different because every journey is different. And there's sweet wine, and there's dry wine, and there's notes of tobacco, notes of licorice, and notes of cinnamon. That's my favorite. Fruity and spicy. But he has a different, some people more dry, some more spicy, simcha, joy, more awe of God, fear of God, joy of God, more intellectual, more practical. But you got to take ownership. Take ownership. Savor this. Wine, the longer it steeps, the better it is. Matzah, you're looking for quickness. The faster it's made, the better the matzah. Because it's reflective of the Jews. Out of Mitzrayim. They were spirit. It's called lechem oini, poor man's bread. Because at that moment, they were not engaged in this. They didn't love God. They weren't invested in the relationship. They just barely allowed themselves to go out. Born, almost against their will. We're going there, no time to think, out of here. The matzah is poor, it's impoverished, it's tasteless, clogs the stomach. The simplest of foods. So the Chachamim say that's the moment of the Exodus. You got to start the wine now. Now, tonight. Start investing, start savoring, start getting moved, open your heart, develop. Wine opens up the heart. Wine, matzah clogs and wine opens up. So it's got to be wine. It can't be a fourth matzah to remember the fourth expression, because matzah brings out the moment of what God did to me. I'm passive. Okay. Wine is my response back, which culminates in velakachti. That's why it has to be what? Dafka wine. It can't be matzah. And that's why there are three expressions here that God's doing. Three matzahs. Velakachti, the fourth expression, wine. So you have to have 4 cups, because in order to note the fourth expression, you got to have 4 cups. That also means that even when you were dragging me along, I really wanted, I just hadn't developed it yet. It's a development. I really want to be intoxicated with you. I really want to be crazy about you. I really want to feel you and experience you and love you, even when I was dragged out. So even the first 3 expressions, there's the cup of wine for each of them too. It says, you want this too, my friend. It's not just God's choice of you. You want it. Bring it out. 4th cup expresses it fully. Velakachti, the marriage. And now the question is, this is so important. So why doesn't the Torah itself say the 4 cups of wine? Why is this left to the sages? So look at the next quote on your page. The quote says, Shema b'ni, it's underlined for you, the critical parts. Shema b'ni musar avicha, listen, my child, to the discipline of your father. V'al titosh, and do not forsake, Torah simacha, the teaching or the instruction of your mother. Now, it's obviously referring to the Torah, right? So why give 2 metaphors? Father, mother. One metaphor will do. Father or mother. So look at Rashi. Because it's talking about the written law. That's one aspect of Torah. And then there's which the sages contributed. Which is which? Look at the commentary. Hearken, my son, to the discipline of your father. This is a direct translation of Rashi. That's what the Holy One basically gave Moishe Rabbeinu in writing and orally, told him information. That's what, father? What's your mother? Look at the next column. These are the words of the scribes. They innovated and added and made safeguards for the Torah. Now, why is that mother? You tell me. The father gives the seed. But who develops the seed into the child? The mother. That's exactly what's going on over here. The written law is father. It's God's seminal instructions. Every word in Torah is a seed that's developed by the sages. So the Torah, it's a dual partnership here. The Torah's role is to celebrate what God gave. What did God give? You're Jewish. I chose you. Therefore, Torah says matzah. That's what we're asking you to eat. The sages, their job is the development of what God gave. Our role. Therefore, they bring the wine. Because that focuses on our contribution, our response back. The 2 of them make a complete Torah. That's why there's 2 loaves offered on Shavuos. Written law and oral law as one culmination of Pesach. So this answers, is the wine not mandated in Torah? Because Torah emphasizes what Hashem gives. It's the oral law, Torah Shebal Peh, oral law, the words of the sages. They are the ones that emphasize our response and our contribution. And that's the marriage at Sinai, when we're there willingly, and that's represented not by matzah, but dafka by wine, flavorful, tasteful, unique, individualistic, and so on. Clear? Now the question is, finally, beautiful, but why the numbers? Why it's 3 expressions of God's doing, and the 4th expression is our investor, is the marriage, is our response. Why not 2 and 1, or any other number? Nothing is just arbitrary in Torah. Answer. Look at the word Gimel Dalet. Look what they mean. Gimel means to bestow. Dalet means to receive, the poor who receives. Goimel Dalet. So we're the recipient. We are the recipient. God's the bestower. Gimel means to bestow. Hence, 3 matzahs, and the recipient, our response, the wine response, is 4. And that's why there are 3 founding fathers, Gimel Avos, and Dalet Imois. Father bestows, mother receives and nurtures, not by accident, which is actually classically the children, the Seder will say, one of the reasons for the 3 matzahs, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Kohen, Levi, Yisrael, and which is also a male thing. And why the 4 cups of wine? The 4 mothers. It's not just matching up. And the depth of it, because matzah is all cut and dry. Men are cut and dry. They need the rules. They scored, they didn't score. That's the guy. Pucks in the net or not in the net. And for the woman, it's the game, it's the relationship. Doesn't understand. It's whole obsession with the rules and the points and the line, fighting, killing each other, whether it was in the line or outside the line. But that's the male. That's Torah Shabbat. That's Torah Shabbat. It's cut and dry. It starts, ends here. Torah Shabbat, the sages, it's endless. Woman talks forever. Huh? They're endlessly explaining and expounding the relationship. It's for forever. Wine, there's no cutoff limit. How after a certain point, no, drink it. The longer we're going to be drinking wine that was thrown away from the beginning of creation. Can you imagine how potent that is? The longer the wine steeps, the better, as long as it's not gets spoiled. There's no time limit. It's ever expanding. So I'm just saying this in that, yes, a Torah Shabbat is the male thing. The Torah is every word, not more, not less. It's very cut and dry, and it's cut and dry. You read the Torah, there's no explanations, no nothing. That's the way it is. That's the male thing. To the kid. That's the way it is. But the female role is the wine, the nurture. It takes time to develop from within. And it doesn't have a boundary. It's an ever ongoing process. The library continues to expand as we discover more layers, Rishonim, and then Achronim, and then Chassidus is revealed, and it continues to develop nuance and depth. Gimel Dalet, bestower, receiver. Now the final question is, but the numbers. We explained the meaning of the word Gimel, to bestow, and Dalet means to receive. But why the number 3? Why the 3 expressions of Eitzesi, Vitzalti, V'galti? And why is the number 4 focused on the recipient? So final insight is because every act of bestowal has 3 stages. How so? If I want to give you this, first I have to have it in my hand. Then what? I have to have it. Then I have to stretch out my hand. That's 2. And then deposit it. Every bestow, and that's also true if I'm teaching something. If I want to teach you something, I have to have the knowledge. Then I have to formulate in my head, how am I going to convey this? And then say it. So every act of bestowal is 3. What's 4? Your hand or your head that receives. So the reason that Gimel means to bestow, and Dalet means the hand of the recipient, who's poor till he gets what he's given. That's why it's Dal means poor. Dalet is poorness. Is because every act of hashpah, of giving, is a 3 proud act. That's why it's 3. And it means Gimel bestow. And that's the Gimel Matzahs now. And the 3 fathers. So what's the summary? The summary is that along came the Chachamim and said, Kinderlach, it's important to know tonight, do not be satisfied with only celebrating Am Yid, Am Yisrael Chai. That's very nice. Am Yisrael forever, Am Yisrael Chai. Lo maspik. What are you doing with this Am Yisrael Chai? You've got to embrace it. You've got to reveal it. You've got to understand it, learn and live it, and become intoxicated with it and express it. Reveal it. Develop it. Shine. Illuminate the world with it. Already tonight it has to begin. And that is the role of the sages. That's their role. So when Hashem said these words, he was hinting to the 4 cups of wine. But it's the sages that develop and bring it out. Like everything in Torah, with the passage of time, the message becomes more and more critical and relevant. Isn't this amazing? You see in everything. You think, it was relevant then, and the time goes on, it fades. Everything becomes more relevant, even those things that practically, physically, we cannot do. There's no Beis Hamikdash, and science, technology has made certain discussions in the Talmud or even the Chumash no longer. But the spiritual message becomes more critical. As I was saying, the world has us, Jew. What are they recognizing? The world is seeing what happened they see that. The giving by the Exodus, a Jew is a Jew forever. That spark is there. They don't understand what it is. They just see all Jews are connected. They see that. So what do we have to come out with? The wine part. Yep. This is what it means, and explain it and live it. And the message we have for the world. You need to live a godly life. You're a creation of God, made in the image of God. Now is the time. May Hashem help that we have a truly Zman Cherusena before Pesach, already today. So that by Pesach already will be long, celebrating it the way it should be in Yerushalayim with the Korban Pesach and all Yidden together. Gewalt, it's did you see what happened? It was in California.
In Berkeley.
In Berkeley. These guys were leftists. They're making a party, end of year party, in their private back.
And invited them. Invited those who know, but was that to the end of Ramadan? He invited them? I think it was, yeah. I don't think it was, I think it was, he invited them to show his support. Right, it was the end of Ramadan. Yes. And they turned
on him. So, well, what's God showing? Kinderlach, enough already with this. I'm just like you. We're all the same. They're telling you no, and they're so clever.
And his wife.
And you're touching my hijab. This is going to be real. You're touching me.
Assaulted. Then you see the girl wearing black.
And you're eating a meal. They're starving in Gaza. Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. It is.
So it's all a wake up. Hashem is saying, okay, all right.
And you see this